Hello, boys and girls. My name is Larry, and today we will study Brain Bank Science Book number 19. The title of this book is The Broken Pot. Now, let's look at the cover of this book. How many pots can you find? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are there only 10 pots in this picture? There's one more. There's 11 pots. But what is wrong with this pot? It's broken. Let's find out how this pot got broken. Now, let's look at these pots more carefully. Can we see the different colors here? We have a green pot, a purple pot. This pot is yellow and purple and red. This is a pink pot. We have a yellow or gold pot and another orange or purplish pot. Now, what is different with this pot here? It has a handle right here. Now, do any of these pots have lids? A lid is a cover on top. How many pots have lids? Only this one. Very good. Now let's find out how this pot got broken. Do you think somebody dropped it? Do you think somebody threw it? Do you think somebody stepped on it? Let's find out. Do you have your reading glasses? Let's read the story together. Isabel and Jose were staying with their aunt. She was a potter. She had lots of pots. They were all around her house. Now, Isabel and Jose, these names might be very different to you. These are traditional Spanish names. Now, they stayed with their aunt, and what did their aunt do? She is a potter. What does that mean? She makes pots. Very good. She makes many pots. Maybe she made all of these. How many pots did she make in this picture? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pots? Or do you see more? I think I see more. Maybe 11 and possibly number 12 right there. So their aunt could have made all 12 pots. Now, there are many different colors. We can see a design here with many different colors. And we have stripes, and we have green and blue pots. And these pots have plants in them. And we can use pots for many different things. Let's read the next page. On Saturday, Isabel and Jose were playing with the dog. They knocked over a pot. It broke. Oh no. So they were playing with the cute dog. And what happened? They knocked over this pot. Knocked over. Maybe you know the word knock, to knock on a door. Knock, 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 knock. This means to bump or to hit. If this is a cup and I hit it, it falls down. Knock over. Okay? We can knock over many different things. Usually, we can knock over cups or mugs glass of water, glass of soda, and you have a mess to clean up. In this example, the children knocked over a pot. Now they knocked it off the shelf, or they knocked it off the table. You don't have to knock it onto the floor to knock it over. It can just be on the same surface, maybe the desk or the table. And then it broke. How do you fix something like this when it's broken? We can glue it, but then it won't look good. Let's find out what Isabel and Jose did to fix this pot. The children showed their aunt the broken pot. "Don't worry," said Aunt Maria. "Accidents happen. I can make a new one. Come into my studio. I'll show you how." This is their Aunt Maria here. Was she angry that the children broke her pot? No. Was she happy? No. But what will she do to fix the pot? Will she put it together with some glue? No. She said she will make a new pot. Why? Because she is a potter. She makes many pots. Where will she make the pot? Will she maybe buy one at a store? No, she will make one in her studio. A studio is a place where you can do all sorts of work. Maybe a music studio, or a ceramic studio where you can make pots, or a writing studio where you can write poetry or stories. Now, Aunt Maria is going to show Isabel and Jose how to make a pot. That's very exciting. Do you know how to make a pot? I don't know how, so I'm excited to learn. Let's read the story together. Isabel and Jose looked around the studio. There were tools everywhere. Some were covered with clay. So this is Aunt Maria's studio. What does she do here? Do you remember? Very good. She makes pots. What does she make pots with? Metal? No. Plastic? No. Stone? No. She makes her pots with clay. Perhaps this is the clay here. Many times clay comes in a reddish-brown color. And now there are many tools. We have some paint brushes. Maybe we have a mallet or a kind of hammer. Here we have many sculpting tools for carving the clay to add a design or a pattern. And here we have a bucket of water. And here maybe we have a mixture of water and clay. There are many, many things here, all of which are needed to make a beautiful and wonderful pot. Well, that's it for part 1. We learned how the pot got broken. In part 2, I hope we learn how to make a pot. Hello again, and welcome back to the Broken Pot, part 2. Let's read the story. Aunt Maria put on her apron. She started her potter's wheel. The metal disc went around. She threw some clay onto the disc. We are talking about this right here. This is the disc. And now this disc goes around and around and around so that she can sculpt the clay. Now, how many discs can you find? There are 2. 1 and 2. And what is she using to sculpt the clay? Is she using a tool? Kind of. She is using her hands, and she's sculpting them. Now, she put on her apron. This is an apron here. Why did she put on her apron? Does it make her look pretty? It's so she doesn't get clay on her clothes. And we can see there are some pots up here that she's not using. Let's read the next page. Aunt Maria wet her hands. She shaped the clay with her hands. She put her fingers into the top. Her fingers made a hole in the center. Now, you can see her hands look very wet. What is the opposite of wet? Very good. Dry. Now, if she was trying to make a pot with dry clay and dry hands, would it be possible? I don't think so. I don't think you can mold and push and pull the clay with dry hands. They must be wet. She shaped the clay with her hands. She put fingers in the top to make this hole, and then she slowly separated to make it bigger. Now you can see she is creating a pot. What color is the clay in this picture? Is it black? Is it red? Is it brown? Yes, I would say this clay is brown or reddish brown. Okay. Now look at the pots down here. We saw these from before. Do you remember what is special about this pot? This pot has a lid right here, which is the top part. It has a lid. Now, what is special about this pot here? It has a handle right here. So we can make many different kinds of pots. Let's look at the next page. Isabel and Jose watched their aunt. She made a large pot. It was shaped like a lantern. "Let's fire it in the kiln," said Aunt Maria. The kiln is a special oven. Well, we have some very difficult words on this page. Let's look at this sentence here. Let's fire it in the kiln. We learn that the kiln is a special oven to cook pots, and it makes them hard. This is the kiln here. It gets hotter than the oven in your home. Let's fire it. Fire as a verb means to cook. So let's cook the pot in the special oven. That is what this sentence is saying. Let's cook the pot in a special oven. So she made a large pot. This a large pot? This a large pot? Is this a large pot? Let's find out how big she made it. Okay. We can see here there are some shelves. And what's on the shelves? Very good. We can see pots on the shelves. And we can see this room. What is the room made of? It looks like the room is made of stone. Okay, maybe it's a very old house. Let's look at the next page. The kiln made the pot hard. The next day, Aunt Maria got her glazes. She painted animals onto the pot. We'll fire it again soon, she said. So the very hot oven, what did it do? It cooked the pot and made it hard. What is the opposite of hard? Soft. Do you remember when she was making the clay pot on the disc? Back then, was the clay hard or soft? It was soft. And then we put the pot in the special oven called the kiln. And we cooked the pot, and then the pot got hard. And then now Aunt Maria got her glazes. We can see here. Glazes in this story is shiny paint. Shiny paint. And so she's making a horse or a different animal there with her paint. Then will she be finished? No. What does she have to do after she has painted her pot? She must fire it again. What does fire it mean in this story? It means to cook. So she must cook the pot again in the special oven. And then it's going to make the paint hard and shiny. Well, that's it for part 2 of Broken Pot. I'll see you again shortly for part 3. Welcome back to part 3 of The Broken Pot. Do you remember what happened in part 1? What was broken? Very good. A pot was broken. Who broke the pot? Was it Aunt Maria? No, it was Jose and Isabel. They knocked it over doing what? Were they doing their homework? No. They were playing with the dog. And then in part 2, what happened? Was Aunt Maria angry with the children because they broke her pot? No. She said she will make a new one. So in part 2, Aunt Maria made a new pot. Now it looks like Jose and Isabel are going to make their own pot. Let's read the story. Aunt Maria smiled at Isabel and Jose. Now you can make pots. We'll fire them when we refire my pot. Why does Aunt Maria need to refire her pot? Why does she need to put her pot back into the kiln? She did it once to make it hard, but now she needs to do it a second time. Why? Do you remember? It's because she drew a painting on her pot with her glazes. So she needs to cook her pot again to make the glaze hard. Now we can see Jose here. It looks like he is putting a string of clay around the top of this pot. And Isabel, is she wearing an apron? Do you remember what an apron is? No, she doesn't have an apron, but Aunt Maria has an apron here. Now, what is Isabel using to make a hole in the top of her pot? Can you see the picture? She is using her thumbs. Her thumbs. She is using 2 thumbs. 1, 2. And she is making a hole in the top of the clay to form a pot. What is she doing with her other fingers? Here and here. She is shaping her pot. She's making the hole and shaping her pot. Okay, let's continue. Wow, look at all these pots back here. There's a lot of them. Do you think Aunt Maria made all of those pots? I think she did. Let's read the next page. Who wants to use the potter's wheel? I do, said Isabel. Aunt Maria showed Isabel how to make a pot. Jose made a pot by hand. Is Jose using the potter's wheel? No. Do we see a wheel here? Like the wheel of a car that looks like this? Nope. But we have this here. And many times they would use their foot and it would help spin this disc around. Now it might be machine operated. I'm not sure. So Isabel is using the potter's wheel and her clay is on the disc there. Jose is not. Do the children look happy, sad, or angry that they are making pots? I think they look very happy. They are getting to make their own pots. Can you make a pot? You should try because it's a lot of fun. Let's read. Isabel and Jose liked making pots. They forgot about the broken pot. Aunt Maria did too. She liked their new pots better. Here are their new pots. Do the 3 of them remember about the broken pot from part 1? No, they forgot about it. Why? Because they worked together and they made 2 pots that are even better. Let's look at Jose's pot. What color is his pot? It's blue. Now, blue was the glaze he put on his pot. What else can you see on Jose's pot? He has yellow or gold stars and crescent moons. Crescent. A crescent is this shape. Okay, it's not a full moon, but it's a partial moon. And what about Isabel's pot? Isabel, what color is her pot? Is it blue, just like Jose's? No, her pot is green. And what kind of pattern does Isabel have on her pot? Probably those look like flowers. She has different colored flowers as a pattern for her pot. So we can say Isabel has a green pot with a flower pattern. Or Jose has a blue pot with a star and moon pattern. Those are the different shapes. Now, does Aunt Maria like the broken pot more, or does Aunt Maria like these pots more? Aunt Maria likes these pots more. Well, we've finished the story of the broken pot. I hope you have time to learn how to make a pot because it can be very exciting. And I think you are very creative. I'll see you again soon in the next book. Goodbye.